In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. My name is Dennis, and I used to be an FBI special agent. My career was punctuated by a slew of run-ins with dangerous criminals, gruesome crime scenes that would make your skin crawl, and high-stakes investigations that kept me on my toes, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what I found in the desolate woods of Redwood Falls. It was a case unlike anything I'd encountered before. A string of mysterious disappearances had set the small town on edge. The local authorities were at their wits' end, their faces etched with confusion and fear. The community was gripped by a terror that seemed to hang in the air, a palpable dread that made your hair stand on end. They needed answers, and I was determined to find them. I remember the first time I set foot in those woods, drawn in by the whispers of the unknown. The atmosphere was thick with a sense of foreboding, like stepping into a world that had been paused, waiting for the next player to make a move. The moonlight had no place there, blocked out by the dense canopy of trees that stretched out above me. The silence was near deafening, broken only by the crunch of leaves under my boots and the distant call of an owl, a haunting serenade in the stillness of the night. The case had led me deep into the heart of those woods, to an old, run-down cabin that stood as a testament to time. It was a picture of decay, with shattered windows and weathered wooden walls that seemed to groan under the weight of their own history. Yet, there was a strange magnetism to it, an irresistible pull that led me towards its ominous embrace. As I approached, the beam from my flashlight flickered, casting dancing shadows that seemed to mock my intrusion. The door creaked open with a sound that sent chills down my spine, revealing an interior steeped in a sickly pallor. I stepped inside, my hand instinctively reaching for the grip of my weapon. I was determined to unravel the mystery, to bring an end to the nightmare that had gripped Redwood Falls. As I ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere changed. The once familiar woods took on a new, menacing persona under the cloak of darkness. Each towering tree seemed to leer ominously, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The air grew thick and heavy as if it too was burdened by the unspeakable secrets the woods held. The forest was a labyrinth, a maze of towering trees and dense undergrowth. The path I had been following gradually faded away, swallowed by the relentless wilderness. The eerie stillness was deafening, the silence only punctuated by the unsettling rustle of leaves in the wind. It was as if the forest itself was alive, its every breath echoing in the still night. The moonlight, once a comforting presence, was now a distant memory. The dense canopy above weaved a thick blanket of darkness, smothering any remnants of light. The forest was a world plunged into perpetual night, a realm where shadows reigned supreme. My flashlight was my only beacon, its weak beam fighting a losing battle against the engulfing darkness. The woods were no longer just a physical space, but a living, breathing entity. Each rustling leaf, each snapping twig seemed to carry a whispered warning, a haunting lullaby sung by the forest itself. The woods were speaking, their voice a chilling symphony of nature's raw power and primal fear. Even the sounds of the forest seemed to grow more ominous. The distant hoot of an owl was a solitary serenade in the chilling silence, its echo lingering in the air like a ghostly apparition. The crunch of leaves beneath my boots was a harsh reminder of my intrusion into this forsaken place, a discordant note in the forest's eerie symphony. The deeper I ventured, the more the forest closed in around me. The trees seemed to lean in closer, their shadows merging into a wall of impenetrable darkness. I was a stranger here, a trespasser in a realm that belonged to the shadows and the unseen. The only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath my boots and the distant hoot of an owl. The woods, once a sanctuary of nature's beauty, were now a desolate wilderness, a haunting testament to the unknown lurking within its depths. I stumbled upon an old dilapidated cabin, its windows shattered and its wooden walls weathered by time. The cabin, standing alone in the midst of the dark forest, was a chilling sight. Its eerie silhouette seemed to loom ominously in the darkness, a testament to forgotten tales and untold horrors. As I drew closer, an inexplicable force seemed to pull me towards it. The stillness of the forest was broken only by the crunch of leaves under my boots and the distant hoot of an owl. Yet as I approached the cabin, an unsettling silence seemed to settle. It was as though the woods themselves held their breath, watching me with unseen eyes. The cabin door creaked open with a chilling groan, revealing an interior bathed in a sickly pale light. The air inside was stale and heavy, permeated with an odor that made my stomach churn. It was a smell of decay, of time standing still, of secrets hidden away in the darkness. As I ventured into the cabin, my flashlight flickered on the walls, revealing strange symbols etched into the aged wood. The symbols, drawn in what seemed to be dried blood, were unlike anything I had ever seen. They were raw, primal, radiating an energy that was both fascinating and deeply unsettling. Each room in the cabin held its own share of disturbing artifacts. Broken furniture, cobweb-covered trinkets, and tattered remnants of what might have once been personal belongings. But it was the feeling of being watched, the feeling of unseen eyes following my every move, that truly sent a shiver down my spine. As I navigated through the cabin, the sense of unease grew stronger. Each creak of the floor, each gust of wind that whistled through the shattered windows seemed to whisper a warning. It was as though the cabin itself was alive, its heartbeat echoing in the silence, its breath stirring the dust-laden air. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had stumbled upon something ancient, something that defied rational explanation. The cabin, with its ominous presence, its strange symbols, and its inexplicable energy, was more than just a forgotten structure in the woods. It was a gateway to a world that was beyond my understanding, a world that was ancient, dark, and terrifyingly real. A sudden noise behind me made me whirl around, drawing my weapon. But there was nothing, just the eerie silence of the woods outside. My heart pounded in my chest as I returned my attention to the cabin, my senses heightened by the unexpected interruption. As I scanned the room, my flashlight beam caught a peculiar sight. A rotting rug curled at one corner. Intrigued, I moved towards it, pushing it aside to reveal a hidden trapdoor beneath. A cold wave of apprehension washed over me as I stared at the concealed entrance. The trapdoor was old and weathered, its wooden surface marred by scratches and stains. I reached out, my fingers brushing against the rough texture, and with a deep breath, I pushed it open. The sight that greeted me was a narrow, winding staircase descending into an abyss. The air grew colder, a stark contrast to the mild autumn night outside. The darkness below seemed to pulsate, as if it were a living entity, and a chill ran down my spine as I realized that this was not just a basement, but a descent into a realm of the unknown. With each step I took, the oppressive darkness seemed to grow denser, swallowing up the beam of my flashlight. The staircase creaked under my weight, echoing ominously through the silent void. I could feel the walls closing in, the confined space amplifying my rising sense of dread. I was venturing into a nightmare, a labyrinth buried beneath the unsuspecting surface of the earth. The air grew thick and stale, a tangible reminder of the forgotten horrors that this place held. I could almost hear the whispers of the past, the echoes of secrets long buried, reverberating through the cold stone walls. I felt a growing unease, a primal fear that gnawed at my resolve, but I pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a relentless pursuit of the truth. The stairs seemed to go on forever, each step taking me deeper into the heart of darkness. Just as I contemplated turning back, doubting the sanity of my decision, my foot hit solid ground. I had reached the bottom. The labyrinth had given way to a chamber, a hidden sanctum veiled in shadows and shrouded in a chilling silence. A dim, flickering light revealed a cavernous chamber. It was an unholy sight that greeted me. A circle of hooded figures, their faces hidden, their bodies swaying rhythmically to a chilling chant that echoed off the ancient stone walls. The language was unrecognizable, yet the words seemed to reverberate within my very soul, filling me with a bone-deep dread. In the center of this macabre dance of shadows lay the townsfolk, their bodies limp and eyes vacant. They were bound and gagged, their faces pale with terror. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I had stumbled upon a ritual, an unholy ceremony that defied comprehension. The chanting intensified, reaching a fevered pitch that seemed to shake the very earth beneath us. The cavern trembled, the air thick with an energy that was palpable, tangible. I reached for my weapon, but it was too late. The ritual was reaching its climax. Panic surged through me as I scrambled to free the captives. As I led the disoriented townsfolk back through the winding tunnels, the walls seemed to close in around us. The earth beneath us trembled as if angered by our escape. The once familiar woods now felt alien and hostile, each rustle and shadow hinting at unseen horrors lurking in the darkness. Emerging into the cold night, we gasped for air, the sweet taste of freedom tainted by the lingering terror. Behind us, the cabin groaned and shivered before collapsing into a heap of splinters and dust, as if swallowed by the very earth it stood on. The local authorities took over, their faces a mirror of my own disbelief and fear. The missing townsfolk were safe, but the scars of their ordeal would linger, just as the memory of that night would forever haunt me. The woods of Redwood Falls harbored a malevolence that transcended the physical realm, a darkness that forever changed the way I viewed the world. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.